Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we're looking at Juni Taisen episode 11, which we have our winner, folks, and I'm not happy about it. I don't know if I want to do a rant with this. I'm like thinking in my head. So depending on how this video comes out, it'll be either titled the regular review or we'll have a rant at the end of it because honestly, I do have a lot of issues with this episode. Now, the fact of the first, I want to say 9 minutes being Ox talking non-stop about every little detail that was going on annoyed the living hell out of me. I understand, I get it, because Ox is a systematic person. He's a person that was based off that concept in the show. He talks a lot when in terms of like him strategizing in his mind. The fact that probably the best part of this whole thing was when Rabbit had come in being like an amalgamation of other body parts and all this other stuff, because we found out that Monkey, who was still under Rabbit's control, had actually reattached him and rebuilt him to then hide inside of him, which was disturbing, and then went and attacked Ox to try to kill him. But at the same time, he wasn't trying to kill him in a normal way. He was trying to make it so you can use him as a summons. But the thing is that I think Rabbit, being that he was so, I want to say, messed up in his own right, it was making his body hard to process that. So Monkey, who was pinning him down the whole time, was just trying to keep him intact and stopping Ox from attacking. Now, here's where the issue comes in, is that during this sequence, guess who shows up? Rat, who has been MIA for most of this series so far, after the whole sewer incidents and Monkey dying off before. And even Horse, when Horse died, I think that was the last time we saw him technically. He comes in with the bomb that was made by, I think it was Sheep that made it, and launches at them, and then Ox is still talking during this sequence, and then blows up. Kills everyone there, gets their things, and is the victor of the Juni Taisen. So, yay, good job, Rat. You did something, Now, here's where things got interesting, and this is where I was a little bit less hated for this episode, but it still annoyed me. So Rat, we find out then his ability is actually the ability to see and lock in onto what happens if he chooses a certain pathway. So think of it almost as a literal video game where you can save at certain spots and then see what the path will take you to. If you die, you go back to that save point and then you go through another way to find out how things will play out. So as we find out, Rat actually had died multiple times during the Juni Taisen, in his mind at least. And that's where things are a little hazy, and I'll explain that in a second, but during his thing with him, he went through the Juni Taisen multiple times, found a way that finally would have him to be the victor, not Monkey, or not, I think it was Rabbit actually would have won every single time for the most part. Rat was only destined to win if he would have followed the exact route he did. But then, when he's being interviewed at the end of the game, which we find out that, that happens apparently to all of them, they had questions for him because they're wondering, how the hell did you survive? And lo and behold, this is where we find out this organization that has the Juni Taisens is even more shitty than we thought, because what they had been doing is that they manipulate certain things, obviously. But with Rat, if he would have actually not had answered all the questions that they had, he would have found himself being killed off multiple times. So he tried to, in his mind, to do that same method he did for the Juni Taisen to escape to see if he can live, but every time he didn't decide to answer the questions of the interviewer, who's the guy who we saw in the very first episode, he would be killed off by something. It was either getting hit by a car, exploding, getting stabbed in the chest, getting, I think at one point he gets run over by a car, if I said that right, which I do apologize, I think I did. And the list goes on. I think one also when they have the elevator snap on him and he ends up crashing into the ground. And that's how this episode ends, essentially, where he does answer the questions. He tells them about his power a little bit, but then at the very, very end, he's told, oh, hey, you can ask what you want for your wish, but go get some rest first, Rat realized if he would have told him right then and there, they would have probably given him the wish of just letting him sleep, because that's what he was so tired. Apparently it takes a lot of toll out of him, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. It's not the end of the series, so next week's episode is the final episode, and I almost wonder what they're going to do for that, because I'm very curious what's going to happen in that week's episode, but it's not that this was a horrible episode. It's not a bad episode, but at the same time, there's a lot of issues with it, because it's almost like, how did they want to do this? What were they trying to really aim for? Was it that Rat, yes, okay, so he has a power that's basically like a video game, or is it that it's his mind he's doing that? What is the actual concept? It looks like that he can actually do that, and he has died multiple times, but I don't know. The way they explained it, the way the first half of the episode was, it's just, I don't want to hate I don't want to hate this episode. I just don't like it. So that's why I don't think I'm gonna name this as a rant, because it was really me just breaking down the episode and kind of stating my hate for it. But what did you guys think about this week's episode? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know. Keep it respectful, obviously, but I want to hear your opinions, because I feel like a lot of people have some stuff to say about this week's episode. As always, guys and girls, I will talk to you later. I'll try to have Himoto out today, probably later tonight, maybe even after this. We'll see what happens. Have a good one, everyone. God bless you all. Bye-bye.